Hello friends, happy Saturday. Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name's Janna. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, I'm so happy that you are back and watching what I have to show you today. This is my 14th episode for 2024 of Saturday Morning Makes. Jill Norwood here on YouTube is the host for Saturday Morning Makes, and I will put all the information how to get to her channel and about Saturday Morning Makes in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. To see what everybody's creating, all you have to do is search the hashtag SatMornMakes here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We do have a group on Facebook. I'll put the link to that also in the description box. So if you don't like to do videos and you want to participate, all you have to do is request to join our group. We'd love to have you. And it can be whatever you create. If you're an artist, if you're a crafter, maker of whatever, yeah, it can be whatever. So what I have to show you today, and you might want to grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee because my video is going to be a little bit longer, is my junk journal. I started this in July. It was supposed to be for the month of July. It was a challenge that I took part in, and I just finished it this week. So I talked a bit about this. I didn't show my journal, but I talked a bit about this at the end of my video on Thursday. But yeah, I wanted to take part in Junk Journal July, and so there's 31 prompts. I'll be showing you more about that once I get into the journal. And the idea is to do a page in your journal every day. Well, obviously that didn't work out for me. And so several months later, I finally completed it. But the point is I completed it. Okay, so it's very chunky. You can see here. I have it tied closed with this ribbon. It's not attached or anything. So let me take that off. I did show the cover back probably the end of last June, when I got the cover ready. It's made out of an Amazon package. So you can kind of see there the barcode through there. So I put mulberry paper on. I decoupaged that onto the package, and I love that you can kind of see the barcode and the word recycled there. I painted it. I gilded it with like gold. I can't remember exactly if I used a rub-on gold or if I used gold pigment ink. I can't remember. But there's, I think, some black dye or paint on there also. I'm sure back in my original video when I talked about the cover, I told what I used. And then I stamped out the letters junk onto some background book type page paper. Then I've got metal letters here for journal. My girl is different pieces of Diane Reevely stamps. I used the July, I cut that out of a piece of a calendar. My little ribbon thing here, I've got, I think, a couple more of these within the book. It's from a die that I had purchased that creates that ribbon. And then this is just some border stuff that I've had in my stash for a while, and some background type ephemera that I've bought from somewhere. So that is her. Inside, I did the inside of the front and back cover with this postcard type paper. And there's the inside of the back there. Okay, so here I printed out the information on Junk Journal July. Once you download it, you can just resize it to whatever size, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to have it in the front here with all the 31 prompts listed. Now, several of these prompts really gave me they were quite a challenge to me. I think that the gal that hosts this, Meg from Meg Journals, and there is the information on her, what her YouTube is at Meg Journals. She was the host. I think she must be from somewhere other than the US, because the way she spelled a couple of the words are different than the way we spell them here. Like favorite has an E on the end, and cozy was spelt with a S-Y instead of a Z-Y. Color has a U in it, you know, so whatever, the words are spelled a little different. So you can go in order from 1 to 31 if you want, or you could mix it up. I mixed it up in mine. I used different papers in my journal and bags to create the pages. So whatever page I decided I wanted to use for whatever prompt is what I did. So the prompts are not in numerical order in my book, but we'll just go through them one at a time. So this first little page is on a half sheet here of some brown cardstock, and I did a little stenciling in the background. Do I need to zoom in a bit? So I did a little stenciling in the background. The prompt for this one was tickets and tags. So this particular tag, it's really soft. I don't know what kind of paper it is, some kind of a handmade paper. Oh, it says this hang tag is made with 100% recyclable paper using no new trees. And this came off of a piece of clothing. And I just thought it was cool when I saw it on the clothing, and so I hung on to it and kept it. And so finally it found its way into this little journal. Sorry about that. What I created the pocket with here has tickets all over it, so I thought that was kind of fun since the prompt was tickets and tags. And then I've just got some different ephemera in here. This one is a ticket for 20 rides, good between Chicago and, I can't really tell what that other word is. And it's a punch card, which is pretty cool. And you can see that it had been punched. So this is a replica, and it's like a little letter on the back of it here. And then this is a piece of ephemera, and I'm not sure, that kind of looks like the Titanic, I'm not sure. And what's this one? Child season ticket. So that's that, and I glued another little one here on the front, and then I just put some trim down here at the bottom that's kind of a woven trim. This page here is one of the last ones I finished up, and it wasn't really, I mean, the prompt wasn't giving me trouble for whatever reason. It just wasn't one that I did right away, but it's gratitude. There's another one of those ribbon things that I created from a die I have. This page is a part of a paper bag that I used as pages in the book. I've got a little piece of washi here, and this saying is, I'll read it. For flowers that bloom about our feet, for tender grass so fresh, so sweet, for song of bird and hum of bee, for all things fair we hear or see, Father in heaven, we thank thee, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So that's why I put the little bee washi up here. I did this bird. This is a Stampin' Up! Stamp set. So I stamped and cut him out and colored him up. And I put a little bit of Nouveau glaze there on his eye. Added the word blessed here, and this is a die cut. I did put some book page back here and some powdered paper. So that is that page. Then this one here is very vintage. So I used the other side of that bag, which has all vintage type ads on it. And then I had these different pieces of ephemera that were all vintage, like from newspaper. And this one is all ads, like maybe from a telephone book or something. And then this is like from an old newspaper, 1912. And I used my label maker to put days gone by. And I just had that little bit of extra lace trim that I stuck under that one and over here on the edge. And so I overlapped these, but I attached them in a way where you could still pick them up and actually read the ads and read what was on these little things if you wanted to do that. Okay, this page was kind of fun. This one is stripped back. That was the prompt. So I've got it on a piece of torn paper here that I don't know what kind of paper that is, but it's got a really nice feel to it. I've just got some trim I had here. It's a paper trim from my stash. Then I have a piece of cardboard that I pulled, or a piece of box that I pulled off that top layer of paper to expose the corrugated underneath. So that's my stripped back. And then I put some white craft ink on it. I've got my die cuts here with a fun little ephemera letter. And then I added the little prompt down here. So that was kind of the fun one. This one is playlist, and so what I did for this one was took a play on the word, I guess. So I made a list. I have, we all get these list pads from Dollar Tree or wherever, and I thought, okay, this will be fun. And so I just made my list of play words: play, play date, playtime, playback, play-by-play, playhouse, child's play, double play, foul play, squeeze play, playboy, play dead, running play, play off, role play, play by ear, play around, play ball, play on words. And I'm sure there's many more sayings that involve the word play than that, but I made that list. So this page was just a fairly simple one with my list. Now this page here was one that I just recently finished. This one was one that really was giving me some grief, and it was maximalism. I had to look that word up about 3 different times. I had no idea at all what to do for that word, for that prompt. Finally, about the 3rd time I looked it up and kind of looked around on the internet about it, I kept seeing pictures, groupings of pictures like this used as an example. And I thought, okay, that gives me an idea. So I had this idea in my head. I managed to recreate it on this page, and I just really loved how it turned out. So my page itself is a really kind of thin paper. I had this background paper here that looks very much like wallpaper. So that was my wall, my room setting. I used some wood background paper to create the floor and then the baseboard here. I have this stamp here, which is a Paula Best stamp. It's been in my stash for years and years. So I stamped it out and colored it up all eclectic, all different kinds of goofy colors. I have this braided rug stamp. I loved being able to use my woodblock stamps that I've had in my stash forever. And sometimes that's the fun, when you get to use one of those stamps and it's like, see, this is why I've had this stamp all these years. So I tucked the rug there under the couch, and I've got one of Tim Holt's paper dolls sitting there on the couch, which cracks me up. The picture frames are a set also from my stash forever that I've had from close to my heart. So I stamped this little one out 3 different times, and then each of these just once. And the pictures that are in these frames are from this little book of their vellum, so I had to put paper behind them. It's from this little book that I got off Amazon that is full of all these little vellum images. So I cut them down to fit the particular frames and made that grouping on the wall like I had seen in the examples. So I was really just very pleased with how this turned out in the end. And like I said, it's one of the ones that gave me the most grief. Okay, this next prompt was paper samples. So these here are actually the little chips that you can get in the paint section at the store, and like for Formica and different things. So I covered them with these papers that are like handmade papers. These papers here are all little samples of different patterned papers that were ones that I sold. I think when I was doing close to my heart, it could have been Fun Stamper's Journey, I can't remember. This little cutout piece of paper, it was just that shape, was something that is in a package of ephemera pieces that I have, and it said standard papers on it, so I thought that was perfect. So I cut all these little excuse me, strips and attached them like a grouping of paper samples. These papers here are from a wallpaper book, and they are real pieces of handmade papers that were made in Thailand, and these labels were actually on these papers. So I thought that was cool and perfect for this prompt. And this was just a piece of torn paper from this that was part of the, what she put out for Junk Journal to July, and it had different pieces of paper on it, so I just incorporated that in there too. Okay, this page here is fold out. So this is this piece is actually a what have I got happening here? Oh, I see. Is actually envelope from, it's from junk mail or a bill or something, and it has a window in it. So I put this little girl in there with some pretty paper behind her, and she's got her little ballet shoes on. I've got some pretty washi tape that just went along with the colors I used. It says The Music of My Heart. And I tucked this little piece of lace on here that was some, you may or may not have watched the video I did of all the lace that was in my mom's stash. And so this was a piece and the colors went. So I added that on. And then this folds open. I wrote on here, dance like nobody's watching, and don't mind my horrible handwriting. And it's just got some fun washi tape around that. and some stickers here. And then I've got this pretty lady in her ballet dress over here, and just some fun little pieces, a little jewel I stuck on that there. So that was my fold out one. On the other side of this one, this is the prompt is postcard. So again, I used some of that postcard paper, the same as that I used on the inside of the covers. I made a little vellum pocket here with a die that I have that creates that pocket. And I've got a piece of postcard there. And then my postcard is one from where I live here. This is the sunset at Nye Beach. It says, land and sea meet as the day comes to a close with the Yaquina Head Lighthouse shining its light for all to see. Built in 1873 and still active, the 93-foot tower is Oregon's tallest. And this lighthouse happens to be not very far away from where I live here, just down the road a ways, not far at all. And so this was a postcard I picked up, I think, in a local restaurant here. I made this postcard actually years ago, and I've just had it tucked away. And I thought, okay, this is the perfect time to get this postcard out and make it part of this book. Pardon the bear behind here, but this is one of the stamps I have. He's got his inner tube. He's going to run out there and jump into the water. And we've got these old ladies standing here saying, we are not amused. So I just got a kick out of making this postcard when I did back then. And these two stamps just went perfect together. And then, of course, the saying. So that just tucks into here. And then this page here is on some music paper that I stuck in here. It was the prompt for balance. I really kind of was not sure what to do for this page either, but so I drew a wire here. I've got my guy balancing on the wire like a high wire. I put a highlight behind him with a piece of vellum that I added ink to. And I put the word hold on. I think this is from one of Tim Holtz's books. And I used pencil around that so that you could be sure to see it. And then we've got this group of people down here who are just aghast because, you know, they're up there watching him all the way up in the air there, balancing and thinking that he might not stay up there. And it says, he gave us a terrible scare. So, yeah, I can't remember. I think I colored them with markers. But again, stamps I've had in my collection for a long time. And on the other page here, this was the prompt for pause. And I love music, so I liked putting that on the music paper. I stamped this that says, take time to enjoy life's simple joys. I put this beautiful red rose sticker here, and this that says, there is sweet music here that softer falls than petals from blown roses on the grass, or night dews on still waters between walls of shadowy granite in a gleaming pass. Music that gentler on the spirit lies than tired eyelids upon tired eyes. Music that brings sweet sleep down from the blissful skies. And that's by Alfred Lloyd Tennyson. So, yeah, it's just pause, take time to enjoy life's simple joys. All right, and then I like to put humor in, so this page is a little bit of that. My cloth keeps slipping here. So this prompt was negative space. I knew I had this die that creates a negative. I put acetate behind it, and I think I inked on the back of it to create what looks like a strip of, a negative strip. So then I have these Tim Holtz, you know, photos from his ephemera stuff. So I wrote the word, put photos here with an arrow, negative space with an arrow. You know, so just my attempt at some humor on that page. And this is on some coffee or tea dyed paper here. I can't remember if this is paper I did or paper that my friend Patty gave me. Hey Patty, if you're watching this, I finally got my book done. Okay, and then on the other side of that paper, the prompt is nostalgia. Again, I have one of those little paper ribbon banners. Nostalgia, I typed the year 1957 up there. That is the year I happen to have been born. I've got this fun patterned paper back here that is typewriters and coffee cups and stuff. You know, people only use typewriters now for fun because, well, we don't use typewriters anymore. My friend Patty gave me this that I think she printed this and cut it out, and I just think it's so cute. I love the expression on her face, and she looks perfectly dressed, and her hair for that era. I've got coffee cups up here, went along with the paper, and a cute paper doily behind it. And the saying says, listen, before I had my coffee, I didn't know how awesome I was going to be today either. All right, and then this next prompt was good vibes. I've just got it on some pink like text weight paper. I did a bunch of background stamping on it with Diane Reevely stamps. I had this cool stamp set here with all the peace signs on it. Good vibes made me think of, you know, the 70s, hippie, you know, that's what it made me think of. I put these fun little flowers because remember how it was like flower power. So I put those fun little flowers, and then I put, I'm not the black sheep, I'm the tie-dyed one. And my family would say, yep, she likes tie-dye. And some of my friends too. Okay, so there was that page. This page was fun. This is one of the first ones I did, I think. So it's for the prompt Cozy. And I had a magazine that has a lot of you know, how you decorate your home and stuff in there. And this spot, I mean, to me, that just defines that word cozy. And it's actually a space that is outside because you can see the lawn there. But it's just this really cute sofa in here and a wicker chair and, you know, just all these things. I put this sticker that says love this with an arrow because I do. I just, that would be so cool to have this little garden house out in your backyard. Then I stamped this big coffee mug that I have that has a cozy on it. I put a really pretty like shell button on there. And I also have some knit paper in the background of this whole page. Which is, you know, that's cozy. So that was my cozy page. This one, pop of color. So I saw her, I cut her out of a magazine. That bright pink shirt she has on was, I just thought, wow, that is a pop of color. And she's holding those pretty white hydrangeas there. Or maybe that's from a snowball bush. Could be. And so I covered her face up with this face, which is also a Diane Reevely stamp. I said to unmask oneself is courage, and then live in possibility down here. So that was my pop of color page. It's on a fun striped background here with a little white doily. All right, this one was favorite supply, and that has to be stamps for me. I love stamps. It says it started out with just one stamp, which led to 2, then 3. Now I'm a stampaholic and don't want recovery. That's all true. I stamped it on some fun, just text paper here. And I put this fun splatter paper in the background. And these are all different stamps I have with, you know, the hands rubber stamping. I have this gal, she's from Stampin' Up, a set from Stampin' Up. She's got her catalog there and all of her things and her pink bunny slippers. So I just colored her up and I just thought the page turned out pretty cute. Okay, this is a page that I just did. It was one of the last ones. It's on some, this one's also on some coffee or tea dyed paper. It's details. So I made this really fun paper house. It's got lots of details. I used book paper for the whole roof and top area of the house. I did doodling on it. I've got this fun leaf satin trim. I used another piece of trim here that came from the stuff I was given that was my mom's. I put a little star at the peak of the house. I did, on these doodles down here, I put some fun glitter stickles. This was just a paper from my stash. These are more of those trims that I used for the windows with some flat back pearl accents there. And then I just created the door here out of another piece of paper. I don't know if it was from the same tablet or not. I've got the flowers or bushes here are rub-ons. And then I've got another little paper doll, Tim Holtz paper doll, and a dog. And then, so when I attached this to the page, which I colored with some Distress Oxides to create the sky, I used a blue and a pink in that area and then took it down to pink here and then more of a green for the grass. When I attached the house, I glued it on just around this way so I could create a pocket. And then I used some text paper here and I wrote out all the details on it of what I did to create my paper house. And it's just all the stuff there that I mentioned already, but I added the word love at the end, that I created it also with love, and then I put a fun little pull tab on it there with the prompt. Okay, and on the next page, this was the prompt for overlap. And so what I did with this one is I cut a bunch of circles. I think this was my 2-inch circle punch. So I cut a bunch of those. I took it to my sewing machine and stitched them together down the middle. I overlapped them and stitched them down the middle. I inked around them. I've got a piece of book page in the back. This was a piece of ephemera there, and this one too. More Tim Holtz paper dolls who are kind of standing, overlapping each other, and obviously look like twins. And then just they're standing on a piece of ruler down here, and then I've got a label down here, which I stamped with the date of April 20th because that was the day that I completed this page. Okay, next page is for the prompt layers on layers. And so this is the other part of that music paper. This page is here. And so I've got a piece of book page. It's layered from the back of this page over the front. I have layered on top of that 2 different doilies. And then on top of that, I have a belly band created with some really beautiful vellum paper, and then I use some flat back pearl trim there on the edges. And then this beautiful tag is made by my friend Patty Center. So there's a lot of, I wrote back on here that because her name wasn't on there, but I wanted to make sure that the credit was given to her for that tag. Hi, Patty. So she made this beautiful tag that has all sorts of layers on it. So I thought it was appropriate to include on this page here. And I love that bird. And it's got, she's sewn on it, and it's just lovely. And so that just tucks in to here. So that is layers on layers. Okay, and then the other side of this is the other side of that book page here. This prompt was in the garden, and how appropriate is this book page that from a book called The Flower Garden. So that it was almost not even planned. I can't remember now. I don't think it was planned. I think I had already done this other page, and then when I was looking for a page for in the garden, it's like, okay, this is perfect. So I've got these pretty flower stickers that I put on there. And then this pops open. There's some more of that satiny leaf trim that I used on one of my other pages. And a bunch of, I've got a piece of vellum here that has greenery on it that was printed on there already. And so I just put an arrangement of floral die cuts and tucked a really cute little fairy in there and added a butterfly up here. And then this, and it says, "What do the fairies do all day in the garden in the sun? They sing and dance, work and play, all of it is fun. I do not think they notice me, for they pay me no mind, but I can watch them endlessly when it rains and when it shines. They take care of leaves and flowers, they dust them with such ease, and wash their petals when it showers, then dry them in the breeze. In late afternoon, when the sun beams hot, they stop to drink their tea in the shade of the snapdragon's flower pot, fanned by the wings of bees. But when the moon glows in the sky and the children are snuggled in bed, the fairies do not shut their eyes, but dance all night instead. The katydids play fiddles while the nightingales sing. The night is filled with giggles and the fairies dance in a ring. I wish I were a fairy dancing through the night to the starry music that lets my heart take flight." And then I've got some more flower stickers there. And so that was in the garden. Now this page is one of my very favorites, and it is on a paper bag. This photograph is, I mean, you would think that was easy, but it's also one of the latest pictures or pages that I created. This is actually a picture of my great-grandma. Let me hold it up. We in the family all referred to her as Little Grandma, and it comes to find out that she was Little Grandma to many, many people that we didn't even know. My sister Charlene, who lives up in Alaska, hi Charlene if you're watching, told a story about being somewhere, I think in a restaurant or somewhere, that they were visiting with some other people, and she started talking about her little grandma, and the guy that she was talking to said, "Well, I have a little grandma." And would you believe it turned out to be the same little grandma? So Lulu's Story is her name. I put that up there. I printed this little picture off with my, let me grab it here, my fun new little gadget, which is called an HP Hewlett-Packard Sprocket. It prints out pictures this size. I just think it is so fun. So whatever pictures you have in your phone, you just, it's Bluetooth, and you just print it out. It pops out these pictures that are actually on like a sticker type paper. I just left the backing on. I didn't even use it as a sticker. So that is little grandma, and she's little grandma because she was little. She was really short. And when she was older, I don't have any idea of when she was young, but when she was older, she had a very gravelly voice, a very unique gravelly voice, and just the sweetest face and smile. She always had a handkerchief in her hand, and I do believe that even when she was young, let me pull it up a little closer, she's holding a handkerchief in that picture. I love this. I love her outfit. Look at all the flowers on her hat. And she's got an umbrella there. It's just the coolest. I put some like handwriting paper there behind her, and this is just a frame from my stash. I used a background of this really pretty lace, and then I put some more lace. This was from my mom's stash of lace. I think this lace here was some that Patty gave me. And I wrote my little grandma there, and that was photograph. So I just love that. That's probably my favorite page. This page is the prompt frame, and so it's the back of this paper bag here. I have these cool acetate frames that are just something from my stash. I tucked one of these Tim Holtz paper dolls in there. She's inside looking out the window, waiting for her man maybe, and there he is with his dog. So I have him standing there and he's up, this is on a brick, this is a brick wall embossing folder that I used there, and a popped up die cut. So that was framed. Okay, this one was contrast. This one I had trouble with. So finally, what I did was, remember back in the day in school, the teacher would give us these pictures that we had to connect, draw from one to the other things that connected. And so I did that. I used twine here. I connected things that were in contrast to each other. So we've got a book on the meaning of woof with a dog and the meaning of meow with a cat. I have this prickly cactus that has a hard brick wall in the background. So, it's just really rough, and a prickly cactus in contrast to some really fluffy, soft pillows up here. And then the bookshelves here, we've got this one that's just kind of stacked and messy looking, and all which way in contrast to this one that is, they're all just standing there and nice and tidy in order. So that was my idea for contrast, and it's on this just text weight paper here. The other side of that page is the prompt tucked away. So I have this really beautiful 3D embossing folder here that is one by Tim Holtz. And it's just this beautiful doily. So I embossed that paper there and cut it out. I've got some stenciling here on the page. So that is all there is. I created a pocket with this. And then this is a napkin that a friend of mine gave me. I believe it was Joe. So Joe, if you're watching this, thank you. So it's just this really cute Christmas napkin, but tucked away on the inside of it is actually a recipe. Now, I've never seen a napkin like this before, and it is a recipe for hot buttered rum. So I just thought that was really cool. That's why I put this little tab, because I wanted anybody that looks at this book to make sure that they actually open up this napkin and see that there is a recipe tucked inside of it. So that was my tucked away, and then I have the napkin tucked away into this pocket. Okay, this prompt here is torn. So the page is torn, and this is like an old, like vintage type paper. And then I've got torn pieces of mulberry paper all underneath of it. I've got some just ephemera type paper back here that I tore around the edges. I have this postage stamp here from Australia that has the royal family on there. It was the Queen's 95th birthday. That's a real stamp that I had torn off of a lavender colored envelope. And then this is some ephemera type postage stamp that I put there, and some pretty flower stickers I added, and then this piece of paper that looked torn. So that was my torn page. And then on the other side of that is the prompt interactive. So I just put this really pretty, I like these colors, gray, the gray and pink and white. So this is like, oh, if you've ever heard of a waterfall, it's a greeting card that, you know, is one that we've done over the years. So this is a waterfall, but I actually used a die set from Lawn Fawn, and they call it Flippin' Awesome. So I used both the Flippin' Awesome die and the Flippin' Awesome die add-ons, which is this back piece here. That's one of the dies in the add-on set. So you just pull the tab, and all the little pages flip. But you can kind of see how it cascades, and that's why we called them waterfall. So I put cute little things on. Again, this is from that book with all the vellum pieces in it, and because I've got white paper behind them, they show up really well. Otherwise, they're very see-through. So I did flowers and butterflies there. And so, yeah, that's my interactive page. This is, my pages are moving around here. This page here is the prompt for pockets. So I've had this blue jean big stamp in my stash for many years. So I stamped it in a blue ink that looks just like denim. I cut the top of the pocket so I could stick, I can't think of the word I wanted to use, tuck a hanky in the pocket, and I used paper. I spritzed that paper with water and scrunched it all up so that I could get it to look more like a piece of fabric, a piece of handkerchief. Then I had this gingham paper up here, so I just cut it sort of in the shape of a person's body and tucked that into the top of the jeans like it's the shirt. And again, this was the other part of that paper bag, so I glued some of it closed but left enough room to create a pocket here. And so I made this tag. I had this cute pocket stamp, and so I've got a stamp that says a pocket full of posies, pocket full of posies, a pocket full of love, a pocket full of fun. So I've got all those little tags tucked into that pocket, and then I just added some trim onto the bottom of that there, and then it just goes into this pocket of this page. And on the back of that, I'll come back and do this page last. Then this is the prompt for brown paper, and I put it on this page because it was already brown paper. This is a coaster that came from McMenamins in Portland, and it has these characters here playing poker. They very much remind me of our sons, except, you know, there were only 2 sons, not 3, but they are redheads. And so I put the brothers down here because those guys look like brothers, and there they all sit playing poker. So I put a joker and a 9 of spades up here just for the fun. Tuck that in behind. I've got the queen seal, which is like a cigar. I think that comes off of a cigar. And so it looked to me like they'd probably be smoking cigars while they were playing poker there. And then I put the prompt brown paper. And then on the back page here, the prompt was upcycled. So again, I used a envelope that's, you know, junk mail. And I made it into a shaker card. I've got this bingo paper on the back of it. And I put little markers in here on this bingo card that's inside. And, you know, you can tap it around and get them to move. I probably should have stuck some beads in there or something to make some sound. I put a lucky troll there because a lot of people, when they're playing bingo, have their lucky trolls sitting there while they play. And I just attached it on with this paper clip so you could take it off and shake it around and play with it there. And then on the side it says, I admit that my weirdness is above the national average, but I'm comfortable with that. So that was upcycled. And then we'll go back to this page. And this one was Letter to Myself. This was the very last page that I did because I have a really hard time doing things like to myself, I guess. But I do have this beautiful stationery that I bought, and I did order this stationery off Amazon. My page is just the back of this bag, and I created a belly band with more of that lace trim from my mom's stash. And I will go ahead and read my letter. I did put on the back of it here one of the wax seals that I made. And so I picked out this purple one with the rose. I thought it went pretty with this paper. And the paper is really pretty. April 24th, that was the date I finished this book. Janna, well, you finally finished this journal, and I'm proud of you for it. It was a challenge that you decided to take part in for the month of July 2023. That proved to be a challenge that ended up taking many months to complete, but that's okay. You got it done. Some of the word prompts were definitely harder than others, but some of those same prompts ended up being some of your favorite pages. The hope is that whoever picks up this journal and leaves through its pages will enjoy it and will find the time, thought, love, and creativity that you put into it. Oh, and the humor here and there. Creatively yours, Janna. So that was the letter to myself. And that finished off this journal. And I really was very happy to get it completed. It always feels good when you finish something that you started that, you know, takes some time to do. So there you have it. That was my junk journal for Junk Journal July 2023. Thanks so much for spending the time that it took to show you this today. I appreciate that you spent that chunk of time here on my channel. Please give me a thumbs up if you like my content here. I really appreciate that. It helps a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. And I will see you in my next journal. Please take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and be sure to check out what other people have created, okay? See you in my next video. Bye-bye.